So in 2010, a young man enlisted in the United States Army. He wanted to achieve his dream of becoming a soldier. So the next February, he shipped out for basic training, and throughout his entire training and throughout his career, he was told, if you ever need help with anything, whether it be mental health or anything with your tasks, all you need to do is ask. 8 years passed, and a lot has changed for him. He's deployed, he's married now with a young child and another on the way. He's stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, and living his dream. However, on the inside, he struggled. Nightmares kept him awake at night. Anger was his base emotion, and on multiple occasions, without telling anybody, he attempted suicide. He finally told his wife, and she convinced him to seek help. And so he went to his leadership, thinking, hey, they're gonna take care of me, they're gonna keep their promise. Well, they didn't. In fact, things got worse for him. His leadership would constantly interfere with his treatment. And in February of 2019, he got discharged. And so now, he lost his identity, he was scared, and now more than ever, he wanted to end his life. That's not a rare story, but the outcome is. During my career, I would actually talk with multiple other soldiers who suffered with the same mental health issues, and they all expressed the same fears. They were afraid that their career would be impacted or their career would come to an end. They were just afraid of all the stigma that was attached to mental health in the United States Army. They felt embarrassed. Now, we've all known somebody in our lives who has struggled with mental health issues, whether it be a classmate, a coworker, a friend, or a family member. We try to rally around them, try to tell them that, hey, it's okay to struggle, and it's okay to ask for help. So today, I'm going to be discussing the 3 stigmas that are attached to mental health in the United States military. Those 3 stigmas are self-stigma, anticipated stigma, and public stigma. And we're going to start out with self-stigma. Now, self-stigma is when a person with a mental health issue is aware of the public stigma and agrees with the stereotypes associated with mental health. And then they start to internalize it, and they apply those stereotypes to themselves. Now, according to the article Eradicating Mental Health Stigma in the Military by Allison Abrams, last updated in 2018, service members are more likely to internalize the public negative attitudes toward mental health treatment and view themselves as weak or inadequate. A lot of this is attributed to the conditioning and the training they get. They're always told, hey, you have to embrace the suck, which means acknowledge that things suck, but you have to drive on. In their eyes, mission first, mission always. And if anything gets in the way of your mission, then there will be consequences. And that leads us into anticipated stigma. I did not switch that around. Okay. Anticipated stigma is the belief that there would be prejudice or discrimination or stereotyping that will be directed towards the individual about their mental health. Now, service members, they pride themselves on being self-reliant, resilient, and ready for any fight or task that comes their way. They don't want their family, their friends, or their comrades to view them as weak. And this can be demonstrated in an interview that I did with a former Army specialist named Tristan Blair, a former soldier with the 4th Infantry Division in Fort Carson, Colorado. I asked him what was his biggest hesitation to coming forward with his mental health issues. And he said he didn't want his family to look at him like he was a bitch. He didn't want his wife, kids, or his unit to treat him any differently than what he was already being treated. Now, soldiers, this is a common fear for them. They fear their unit will start to treat them differently or like they're fragile and incapable of doing their jobs. Now, that leads us now into public stigma. Public stigma is a negative attitude and belief about people with mental health that could lead to negative treatment of that individual. Service members are afraid to be viewed as weak. That's why 65% of those who have mental health issues refuse to seek help. And this is according to Mental Health Stigma in the Military, which was updated last in 2014. Another example of this was with another specialist from the same unit. His name was Specialist Alexander Daughtry. He went to his platoon sergeant one day because he was having severe anxiety attacks. And when he told him and wanted to seek help, he was shoved off, saying, "Have you ever had bullets flying over your head? Have you ever had friends killed, blown up in front of you? You don't have anxiety. You're just weak and you're a bitch." And that after he came forward, his career was impacted. About 3% of service members have their career impacted. And that's also according to Removing Mental Health Stigma in the Military. A lot of soldiers are afraid that their careers are going to come to an end, or they're going to miss out on a promotion or school. And so, today, I briefly touched on the 3 stigmas in the military: public, anticipated, and self-stigma. And so what happened to that soldier from the story at the beginning? After he was discharged, he came home and started working to provide for his family. He finally got into treatment at the VA hospital. And now he's doing better. For the first time in a long time, he finally sees hope. And that soldier was me.